Because my bees were in mortal combat the other day with like a lot of adult big earwigs. They weren't they weren't little ones. They didn't bring the family. They the earwigs sent the warriors. They were big. And so what I'm going to do, because my hive is not happy right now because of the mortal combat that they're locked into. So um, and that's been going on for, I don't know, probably a week or so, maybe longer. So my hive is not a happy hive. So what I've done is I've made some changes to keep those earwigs from getting in there. I did something really silly. What I did was I took a piece of wood, because the bees kept getting down underneath there, flying in with their load, and they would miss the landing board and get underneath there and just kind of sit there. So I put a board there, and that covered the whole front. And all yeah, there was spiders that were building webs and stuff underneath there, and my bees were getting caught. So I put a piece of wood there, and I didn't make the connection until a few days ago. Like, how are those earwigs getting in there? That they were getting in through the back side of that piece of wood, because it went above my stuff that I have to keep earwigs getting in from the legs. The piece of wood, so they were clawing up the back of the wood, and then getting up and bypassing my diversion, so they couldn't get in. Anyway, so and sure enough, I pulled that panel back. There was more earwigs coming up. Yeah, they found that kind of like ants. Once they get a path, they just keep going. So I'm gonna quickly see what happened to my panel. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly pull this panel. Ah, stuck. Pushed it in too far. Pretty busy. Busy bees. So on my other panel, I'm gonna get stuck. Get out of there. And just that simple. Yeah, these girls are just not, they're not as docile as they used to be since that earwig invasion. But that's good, you know, that they're stepping up to the plate and, you know, taking out the earwigs, and that's good. Okay, that panel is done. Now we're going to go over to the next step and do the shake it. Shake your groove thing, shake your groove thing, yeah, yeah. Okay, well, gosh, rise up. So I'm gonna come over here on the other side of this peach tree here and get this thing as high as I can here. All right, I think that's about as high as I can go. So this camera, isn't that annoying when people are recording stuff, things are bouncing all over the place? Okay, I'm gonna see if you can see that. Well, not very well. Well, Nancy, I'm gonna take you back over here. Okay, here we go. Oh, they didn't have nearly as much propolis. That's good. Oh, they sealed this up pretty good again. Okay, looks like they have got another frame filled out since 4 days ago. Oh yeah, that powdered sugar turned out really good. Oh my gosh, that's better than even store-bought powdered sugar right there. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I like that better than store-bought. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they still are aggressive. They still haven't gotten over that and battling those earwigs yet. Wow, this is much better than powdered sugar. Oh shoot. I've been using powdered sugar for a while because when I go to do it, I think, I'll just grab some powdered sugar. But this is what you want right here. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. And just smoke it on in there, man. Smoke it on in. Smoke it on, baby. This one's trying to sting me in my face. Yep, they still look aggressive. They still look like they want to attack. Like they're still angry. After all these days. It's only been a few. That's gonna get on down in there. They're already all white. That's what I want. When I'm all white. Covered in sugar. Just all loaded with sugar. That's going to become sticky on their bodies. And they're going to go, "Hey, Mary Lou, come here. You're so sweet. Let me, let me nibble on you for a while." Well, I hope I don't have a hole in my net, because they are bouncing off my face like they want a piece of my action. Yep, they are aggressive. Yep, trying to get in my face. There they go. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to start, because once the bees become aggressive, because they've been under attack from anything, once they've been under attack, they can maintain that aggressiveness maybe for good. Some people replace the queen, but it's not the queen, man. It's not the queen. It's the crap that's getting in. It's the things that they're having to battle, to fight, right? Inside the hive. It's not the queen. No. I mean, there might be some talk, there might be some suspicion that it might be the queen. Don't get me wrong. But I would certainly start with eliminating all possibilities of it being something that they're battling. That's where I would start. That makes the most sense to me anyway. Well, you girls didn't get any sugar shake. Doggone it. I get you a little bit. All right. Everything's going to be back to normal here in a minute. Your home will be sealed back up. Okay. And that's simple. So I've got a panel pull, a sugar shake. There you go. And so, looks like they've calmed down. Like once I put their top back on, they're going, "Okay, I'm good." Yeah. So, there's some flying around. They're all white. There you go. Okay. See how quick that was? I got my panel. I puttied my panel, waxed it, painted it, you know, pulled out the old one, put the new one in, and popped the top, powder shaked it. Oh, there's girls laying. There's a girl. Oh, that's a dude. Hey, dude, what's up? It's a dude. Nice. Come here, dude. Fly away. Oh, he didn't fly away. So there's an ant. So I'm just going to do a little inspection here. Just a little inspection, right? And look for my magnifying glass right here, and just take a little peek. All right, just a little peek, not a big one, just a little peek. While I'm sitting here, just kind of get a rough idea, just to kind of see if I have anywhere near the same count as 150. There's one. Two, three, four, five. Six. Seven. So I see seven. So I see seven for sure. It's easier to pick. It's easier to see them. Eight. So this it's easier to see them. So there's definitely not 150. So I've already knocked them down. But at the same time, it's only been 4 days. Last time I left it out 3 days earlier. So even if say if there's 20 on there right now, I only saw about 7. So if those girls are going into navigation over there in my swarm, the swarm that I caught, they're starting early. Boy, that girl's laying up a storm over there, man. So you can see all that powdered sugar on the front. Oh, I should probably pull that other panel on the new hive. Whoa, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, I probably should see if they got anything going on, because I left that panel dry. I only add vegetable oil when I feel it's justified, and I'll make that determination based on my observations. Yeah, because I really like using it, not just for catching varroa mites, but I like using it just to see what's going on. What's going on in this hive? Slide it out. Oh, that's what's going on. I need to do something right now. Can't wait. You know, that kind of thing. I can tell when they're done building out frames, so I know when to add some more frames. Say I want to build out more frames to have them ready to make splits. So I have built out frames for my splits. I can add empty frames in there. I can actually monitor it day by day. Well, I wouldn't do day by day, but you get my point. I can monitor that over a 5-6 day period to see, oh, should I add more new frames now because they finished those frames. So I can take out those new finished frames, put them in my other box that I'm wanting to split other bees into, and I can get all this built out comb instead of taking out my hive, taking apart my hive all the time. Have they built out this frame yet? Have they built? No. I can always tell. So if you look at this panel, when this panel was when that hive was under construction, when they were finishing those empty frames that I put in there was I gotta say massive, because it was so high I couldn't get it out of my 3/4 slot because it was too high. It was up against the screen, so I had to Yeah, so a lot of it got left in back there because when I was sliding it out, it took a lot of it with it. So I had to design this brush to get in there and get it all out. Anyway, so you can see here, um, there's no frame being built. All the frames are completed, all done. Um, the only frame that's possible. Oh, also, there hardly none of that sugar made it down when I did that powder shake. Well, that's awesome. So most of that sugar got onto the bees, which is what I wanted, right? I don't like the idea of it going, when I do a powdered sugar shake, just going right down to this panel. No, that defeats the whole purpose, right? And so that fine powder, by creating that smoke, it sticks to the frames, it sticks to the bees, it sticks everywhere. To the varroa mites. Mm-hmm. Oh, this thing's got some sugar right here. And next thing you know, the bees are nibbling away on the varroa mites that are crawling around. They got sugar on them to bite off their legs or whatever. That's a good thing, right? Yeah. So I don't see any evidence of them actually building out. Oh, yeah, there it is right there. So here, up there on the right, you can see them building out frame right there. So they've got the super all filled out over here, and they're starting on the last two frames, or last three frames. They're starting on the last two frames of the super right here. That's why it's darker there. And they're going to have that done in no time, probably. Yeah, the other day they had, I think, 4 frames left. Well, I think they have 2 frames left in there. Anyway, you get the point. You know, I don't remember everything. It's okay. I study all kinds of things. Could you imagine you study 50 topics of things, having to remember all the lingo of all those topics? I chuck all that lingo. What I look for is the concepts, right? Without the words. I go for the idea, right? The perception of the idea and how to do it. And if I try to remember every word about paleontology that's involved in paleontology or cosmology or quantum mechanics or scientific biological science or all the other stuff that I study and read upon, I wouldn't be able to do that. Remember all the words for all that stuff. But if I just focus on the concepts, easy peasy. Kind of like speed reading. You don't focus on the does and the ands and the buts and the is and the no. When I used to speed read, I'd just speed read until I seen something that looked different from everything else. I would focus on that just briefly, okay, and get that, and then speed read through, continue to speed read. And there's something different that's not is, the, and, but. Oh, okay, that's right. And then I was able to just, flip the page. Now I'm not talking C-spot run here. No, I'm talking, and I was 9 years old. I was 9 years old when I taught myself how to speed read. And so, because we had a speed reading contest in my class, and the competitive person that I am, I decided I was going to rise up to that occasion. So I taught myself how to speed read, and I lost. I came in second place. A girl, it's like, how could she read that many books in a day? Huh? She beat me by 2 books. I'm like, what? She got first prize. I got second. Dang, she was good. Because you have to write an essay on each book, right? To verify that you read the book. Yeah, she was good. I thought I was good. She was better. And so it's about, could you imagine trying to remember what ergle, fergle, nurgle, burgle means? Yeah, that's what I mean about these long words. Like, what is that, detrohypamine to hydrate or something? All that stuff? No. I only want to know what E equals MC squared does, right? So what is E equals MC squared mean in a sense of how it can be applied to something? I've seen, what? Oh, that's a different B. I've seen how Einstein came up with E equals MC squared, and I went, dang, that's a lot of chalkboard writing. one going around there. It's like, and then he goes at the end. He goes, dun, 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 E equals MC squared. When I see him do that, I went, he got rid of all the mumbo jumbo. Yeah. Anyway, and that's how I focus on all these different topics that I study and research. Is I don't focus on the ergle fergle nurgle burgle stuff of it, right? The wording, because people create those words and they'll create complex sounding words to make it sound complex. Really, they should have just went, this is ABC 1-2, this is ABC 1-3. You know? That's just us. We want to sound so complicated. Yeah. And so, there, it looks like that other one's already dying down from their navigation. So this one went in navigation orientation first. This one's going to be going soon. Now they're over here eating all that powdered sugar. Now this is real powdered sugar. I just made this, so they ain't getting no starch. This is the stuff they go to flowers for. They go to flowers to get this. Sucrose and fructose. That's what they want when they go to flowers. Nectar. Mm-hmm. It's 100% fructose and same exact stuff in the nectar in a flower. Now, of course, you get some pollen dropped in that, maybe a little bit, some other nutrients from the flower that fall into the nectar. But a flower, the nectar is sucrose and fructose. Table sugar. They put that into their honey sac and start turning that into honey as they're taking it from the flower. Goes into their honey sac, starts breaking it down with those enzymes to start turning it into honey. They come back, they pass that to another girl. She mulls it over for a while. She passes it over to another girl. They just keep spitting in each other's mouth, until it gets to that one girl has it to like, okay, this is the right consistency. I'm ready to put this in a cell, and she goes and puts it in a honey cell. Gets passed around for a while first. And they get moisture, so they're trying to remove as much moisture from that as possible in their honey sac, which is, that's how they get water also. And so before they can actually get it into comb to make it stay, because cones are sideways. If you put it in something, if you put water in a comb, what's going to happen? Yeah, so they have to remove that moisture content enough in their honey sac, absorb that moisture enough so they can finally put it in a cell. Interesting stuff. I made a podcast about what happens to the boys, the drones. Oh, poor guys. Oh my gosh. And so there you go. All that stuff done, lickety split. And so what I'm seeing on my observational panel looks promising compared to 4 days ago. Looks promising. I stopped the powdered sugar shaking for 3 months because I'm thinking, if I'm going to see 0 varroa mites, why am I going to do this once a week? So, and I also stopped putting vegetable oil on my panels. I'm going, okay, the vegetable oil is for catching the varroa mites. There is no varroa mites, yet I'm still putting no vegetable oil on my panels. I'm just going to wait until I see some varroa mites, signs at least, some signs. The sign says, so last week I saw my first sign. I counted 12, and I powder shaked, and the next one was like 150. So before I even saw the first panel draw, I saw 12. Those varroa mites have already well established themselves, which is why a week later there was 150 or so. It was already in full bloom. And now that I think I've already established a grooming thing. The culture is coming back, right? And that's probably why I saw 150, because they were dropping off fast. The girls went right back into that grooming mode, and they were cleaning each other, and all those mites were just being bitten off and fluffed off, and And so when I did my sugar shake that I hadn't done in 3 months, a week later, I saw 150. I went, oh. And now I've seen 7 on that one, but I'll do a closer inspection. But on a quick overview, it ain't gonna go much higher than a 7, I don't think. That is a big drop, right? From 150 just 4 days ago. Now, granted, it's only been 4 days since I seen the 150. But typically, with a lot of folks who do the powder shake, they'll put their panel in if they have a panel system, and they'll do a powder shake, and actually take out the panel like 10 minutes later. Those girls are just getting started, man. Give it a few days, right? Now, there's been many times when I've done a powder shake, and I had taken it out the next day. And the next day, there was hundreds still. Yeah. So, well, they almost got all that powdered sugar done over there. They're walking around like, huh. Uber driver was here from the candy store. Oh, shoot. Yeah, man. And I didn't see any signs of earwigs up there. So I must have eliminated that them getting up there. I didn't even make the connection when I put this board up in front to keep the bees from falling down and going underneath the hive, getting lost. And I didn't make the connection at the time that bugs can come up from the other side past my oil strips that I have, because I put a little old oil around the base on wood, and nothing wants to go into that stuff. I haven't seen one ant or anything crawl past that stuff. They don't want to even get around it. In fact, I only got the oil around the wood like a circle, and there's nothing like this far away. I don't see no ants. Now the ants are around here, but they don't. It's like it creates that smell or odor barrier. Like, even though it's only a circle of oil on that wood that's soaked into the wood, it creates like a bigger circle of smell. They don't want to go near it. And yeah, and it lasts for, geez, I just reapplied it a couple days ago because I saw the earwigs and I didn't make the connection yet. It wasn't from there. So I reapplied some oil. I was like, this stuff still smells strong. I don't know. Yeah, it was a piece of plywood. Yeah, when I pulled it out, there they were on the other side, already climbing up. So yeah. Yeah, those things we do to protect one thing, we don't sometimes realize that we're causing another problem. Because one thing affects another thing that affects another thing. It's a chain reaction. That's why you can't go back in time and kill your parents, because it'll kill you. Or if you go back in time, your parents die, you get the picture. Which doesn't make any sense. In my opinion, when it comes to that aspect of physics, once time has passed, that's it. There's no duplication. You can't go back in time. You can't. See, I think that's just nonsense. Just nonsense. Once something is passed, it's passed. Now, can a thing be duplicated somewhere else in the expanse of the universe? Yeah. The universe goes on for eternity. There is no beginning. There is no end. The universe is eternally there, everywhere. One can travel one direction in the universe, and there would be no end. It just goes on forever. And in my opinion, the universe is made up of quantum particles, and that is the universe. They condense in certain conditions, and you get it builds up what's called hydrogen gas, right? That forms planets and stars and stuff like that. That's my opinion on physics, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah, never-ending story. All right, that's kind of my day today. Go pick some raspberries. I didn't pick that group over there yesterday. Yeah. Oh, shh. I don't know if she was coming in to sting me or what. I think she just got lost. I think I spooked her more than she spooked me. And she went underneath my hand. That's not good. You don't. So I don't mind them bouncing off my face, but I say, like one time, one came and I was doing something with the camera, and it hit me right in the corner. It felt trapped. It was right in the corner, and I can see it moving around. Like, where do I go? And I had my hat here, and it felt locked in, and it stung almost in a second. And so, yeah. Something similar happened when I was making a video at the end of the video. Something similar over here. Same eyeball. And I was taking out the top of the hive about 4 days ago, and I saw all the earwigs, but my brain was just focused on the earwigs, and I wasn't focused on, oh, how long have these earwigs been in here irritating these bees? They may be really agitated and angry, and they're going to come after me. And so I was just going about my business, I started tapping this metal on metal with this powdered sugar. And that girl, the second that I started tapping her, she came up and stung me. I didn't see what was happening from the angle I was, but when I saw the video, I saw her come up. I saw her come right up and sting me when I started tapping. Yeah, that's how it goes, man. It's like we try to do this to make this better, and we make this over here worse. Because we don't make the connection at the time. We're just trying to fix the immediate problem, and we create another problem. Yeah, that's called foresight. Yeah. Oh, anyway, that's my story. Please subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, and I'll continue this process, recording this process, because the proof is in the pudding. I mean, if someone's going to change the way that they're going to do something, they want evidence. Like me, if I had been doing something in a certain way for a while, and based on all the evidence that I have, studied and all that and observed, and even though my system's working, if I just stay with that, oh, it's working, I'm not going to change anything, I'm going to be missing out on possible things that are much more efficient for my bees, makes my bees much more happy and much more docile and much more enjoyable for me to be around them, instead of being fearful of them because I'm afraid they're going to sting me again. Because I know my bees and I understand how they behave, I don't have any apprehensions about being around my bees. But if I wasn't able to understand the body language of a bee, and I just didn't understand the concept of their body language, and I just kept getting stung randomly, and I don't understand why I'm getting stung. I would keep my distance from my bees. I wouldn't go around them, except for to make a split or to do something briefly and get the heck out of Dodge. But because I understand their body language, I can tell if I should be sitting here or not. I can tell whether I'm going to be safe or not. If even one bee came up to buzz me while I'm sitting here, I'd be thinking, well, how come she did that? Should I go check the top? Because if she was one that came from the top, so you got the nursing bees, they're up there building up the comb and taking all that stuff, maybe preparing stuff for the queen to lay eggs, and they're up there battling something, say earwigs. That's a late example, and they're in mortal combat with these earwigs, and there was a lot of them up there, and I only saw a fraction, I'm sure, of what they've been battling. I had no idea how many had already gotten in, how many they're battling underneath the cover. I don't know. I didn't take that part of the cover off, or go down to the hive or anything. So I don't know. And so it's important to pay attention to if even one bee buzzes you, because that one, if a bee comes out and buzzes you, she might have been, before she came out and did her orientation flight, she might have just come from that stressful environment. Who knows how long that's been going on? So she has an elevated of stress hormones going on, and that can stay permanent until she dies. It's like when we're raised in a stressful home, many of those kids, when they grow up to be adults, have high blood pressure, right? Because they're under that tension of that stressful home for so long. I'm a classic example. I was raised in a home that was under constant fights and arguments and battles, and I'm talking physical fights where there's blood, and injuries. It was a dangerous home that I was raised in, and I got beat up physically a lot. I feared for my life many times as a child in the environment that I was raised in. My father was in and out of prison, always running from the law. He was a danger to his children when he was around. He was a danger to his wife, which was my mother. Guns were being drawn here and there, and threats, and all that kind of a stressful environment to a child when they become children can lead to high blood pressure where they need to get on medication. Now I was on medication, blood pressure medicine for a while, actually 3 of them. But I learned what that was. And I learned to bring down that slightly elevated cortisol and adrenaline to a low level. So now I was able to get myself off all 3 blood pressure medicines, right? Because I understood it was metabolic induced by external pressures. And so I got rid of that external pressure that became internal pressure created by me now. I allowed it to continue. Once I realized that, I brought it down, and now I can get my blood pressure around 110 over 62, 63. I can bring it down when I want to, but sometimes I want it up because I'm going to do something physical. I don't want to be feeling faint because I'm not getting enough oxygen to my brain. Because if we're going to do something physical, we have to have a certain elevation of blood pressure so that we can get enough blood to the brain to do stuff in the body. I've had blood pressure down to 53 over 34, and I couldn't walk. I had to crawl to the bathroom, literally, on my belly. If I tried to stand up, I'd faint. That was because I was going through a transition of getting off blood pressure medicine and still taking it. And I was also changed my eating lifestyle. So sometimes my blood pressure would spike, like in the old days, and sometimes on the medication, and sometimes it would be really low. And so I was on this roller coaster with this blood pressure medicine, way too low or still way too high. Anyway, I was able to figure out how to get off that. Now I'm right as rain in the desert. Okay, so that's my day today, with a little bit of health advice. That's good. A little bit of advice here and there. If we haven't heard it before, we'll go, huh? I haven't heard that before. That's the first time I ever heard that. You know, which is true. I mean, I've thought that so many times myself. That's the first time I ever heard someone say such thing. And then I go into research and I go, oh, that makes metabolic sense right there. I learned how to do mental meditation, right, to bring down the blood pressure also. That brainstem spot, relax the whole body, and also in touch with the microbiome gut, working those together. It's like I could just feel the blood pressure go. Oh, I'm going. I don't think I should get up. Gotta give myself to bring the blood pressure back up a little bit. Anyway, I've experienced all that, man. Personally. It's like, dang, I was afraid to go places. I was going faint. Yeah, I was glad to get off that blood pressure medicine stuff. I'm on 0 medication. I used to be on 12. Now I'm on none. Absolutely none. We used to have health conditions. Now I have none. Yeah, it's great to feel 20 again. Actually, I feel better than I did when I was 20. I was eating all that processed food and always felt like something was wrong. I just never felt healthy as I felt I should. Well, then I learned why, and then now I know. People should feel like the way I feel their whole life, from birth until their last breath. I can see why people get on fentanyl and heroin and all these addictions. It's our lifestyle to begin with. It's the processed foods. Some of us can handle the processed foods better than others. All the chemicals that they put in there and all the metals the vapor metals that come off the metals machines and all the microplastics that come off the machines and all the stuff. And they get bagged into these plastic bags, and it's all these chemicals that get put in our bodies that over time they're cumulative. And we end up on all kinds of medications. First it's 1, and then it's 2 medications, and it's 3, and then it's 4. I know because that was my road. And then once I got off all the processed foods, and I only eat food from my field here, I grew up myself. and I freeze it, and I eat this stuff during the winter. In fact, right now I'm not sure if I'm gonna have enough room. I got two big freezers, but I got one freezer that's still mostly full from last year. I'm gonna have to dump most of that. So I'm gonna have to downsize. I don't eat that much. I eat one meal a day, and it's mostly organic stuff from my garden. But I like to buy the beans. I like to buy, Whole Foods. I cook the beans. They're not in a can, in a bag, in a jar, in a box. you know. No, they're Whole Foods, and I'll make them. I'll buy certain ones like lentils and beans and many different kinds of variations of nuts like walnuts. Yes, peanut is a legume. Peanuts are legumes, like like lentils. Yeah, peanuts are in the lentil family, and different kinds of beans, and then throw all my different kinds of veggies and stuff that I grow, and make big batches of soup, and I get about 40 meals. I used to think, here I got 30. I'll just go keep it around. So I got 20 containers here. I'm gonna fill these serving size containers, each with a serving. But when I go to thaw it out, I realize then I got all this garden stuff and other stuff that I can put in that soup. Then I realize I'm getting 2 meals out of one of those containers. So I have half of it one night mixed in with all my other garden. So I use that soup as a base for all my other garden additive stuff I put in there. So I was getting actually 2 meals out of each one. So if I was thinking, oh, I got 20 meals out of this big serving of soup that I made, I actually got 40. Same thing when I make big stir fry. I'm thinking, oh, this is one serving. Same thing. I make a stir fry. I already had some vegetables, and I freeze it in the serving. What I think is serving size. And I go to thaw it out and go, I got all this other stuff I can put in here from my garden, and so I get 2 meals out of that one meal that I thought was one meal. That's how I do my eating. Healthy stuff, man. Oh my gosh, I'm just buzzing like these bees, just buzzing along. Feels great. Feels great to feel great for the first time in my life. Something always felt wrong. It was those Lucky Charms. They weren't so lucky. It was those cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And they made me cuckoo. That's for sure. Right? It wasn't working for me mentally either, the sugars and all that. We're all different, we're not clones. Some people can function at a higher level of all the toxins that the foods that we eat cause. Oh, here's this hive goes. So this one went into its navigational orientation first, and this one's now going into it. See here? Starting to build up. It's going to get big. And so, yeah, and so that toxin stuff just builds up in us, and so it's cumulative, even in the brain. So I've been in autophagy for about 5 years. Almost 5 years. I've been, close to it. My body's been in autophagy. Because I eat so many vegetables, I burp a lot. So if you see me burping, and I don't say excuse me, it's because I burp so often, I don't even notice it. Right? I don't even notice that I'm burping. I'm burping all the time. I got air coming out all over the place. But that's a good sign, right? Because it has zero odor, so there's no odor to any of the gases coming out, because the microgut biome is just humming along, and there's no toxins that are really unmanageable at all. In fact, it's perfect level. And so, along with the a healthy gut biome, because of all the kind of foods I eat that are organic, and only eating one meal a day after 5 o'clock, my body stays in autophagy 24 hours a day. And that's always going through a cleansing 24 hours a day almost, except for that little window where I eat my meal, which is organic, healthy food stuff, right? It's good stuff, really healthy. It's what we used to eat long ago, before we had a grocery store. Well, my bees have a grocery store right there. They don't have to pay for it. All those flowers up in there. And so, yeah, we are what we eat. And I am what I eat. That's right. Ace number 1, man. This is fabulous to feel. I feel like human beings are supposed to feel. We're supposed to feel like our body's humming. Right? That's how we're supposed to feel. We're supposed to feel like, wow, this is just amazing to be alive. I feel good. Do 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 do. Like I knew that I should now. Oh yeah. And so, yeah, it's just. Yeah, I used to have inflammation in my joints. I've had some injuries of the past where I fell over a bike and busted all my knuckles and my joints and my tendons and my hands and tore ligaments and knee injuries and back surgery and heart surgery and all caused from the processed foods. Because if we're not eating, if our bodies, if say we get an injury and our bodies are already in high inflammatory mode because of the processed foods that are in our body that our bodies are constantly trying to cleanse out, it's going to take a lot longer for our body to heal from an injury than it otherwise would have. Not only that, but if we're already inflamed, that healing process is disturbed, and we may not heal properly at all, and we're going to always experience pain from that. Even though we heal to a certain point, it's always going to be like a form of arthritis. If we stayed away from the processed foods, we got the regular exercise after an injury, once we're able to exercise again, and just exercise ready, ate organic food, ate healthy food, not the poison stuff that's in a bag, in a box, in a car, can, in a jar. Ate healthy food that's not poisoned in a meal, right? Our bodies, when we get the injuries, we heal like we're supposed to, right? And the inflammatory markers in that process of healing are much lower, and it happens much smoother and easier for the healing process. Anyway, now I'm talking a little bit of biological science. I love research on biological science. I do it all the time. A lot of other topics, paleontology as well, vermiculture, immunology, virology. It's just fun. Some people play tic-tac-toe. Right. That's my thing. All right, that's it. Please subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell. Appreciate that. And you have a good day. And if I find